When there is an insecurity of purpose and passion, it can really affect our minds, bodies, and relationships. One of the most powerful words that I came across was the word yet. Do you ever feel empty inside? Well, I think a lot of people can feel this way, especially in our culture. Well, you may be experiencing an insecurity of purpose and passion. So what is an insecurity of purpose and passion? Well, I'll define it as the difference between the expectation of us to achieve something and our internal desire to work towards that. So when I was younger, I was raised with these movies and shows about sword fighting. And it would show one person being able to defeat like 10 other people with their martial arts abilities. So later on in life, I got into Taekwondo and I started competing in Taekwondo. In my mind, I wanted to have that ability to fight multiple people and to be able to do kicks and punches and dodge and move around with grace and power. The three top fighters in my Taekwondo school were all Vietnamese. I was the oldest and heaviest in the featherweight category. And then we had a bantamweight and a flyweight as well. As I continued to train, I did okay, but I didn't have that desire to crush the other person like one of my teammates did, the youngest one. When he went into a ring, he wanted to just beat and destroy the other person. And that mentality allowed him to train harder and to add more of that fighter spirit into every single one of his moves. And he became the youngest national champion at the age of 16. I was never able to get there. I didn't have the desire to train 24/7. Now, I thought I would become an academic because in university, I had to choose between using my head to think of things and to problem solve and to get a higher education, or to use it to block a kick. So then I said, okay, why don't I become this incredible mind person? I would see these people being able to manipulate objects and numbers in their minds and facts and discover new things, and I wanted to do that. But as I was going along in university and I was studying, I thought, what's it all for? What's the purpose of all this? Even if I can do all of those things, then what? Now the insecurities can go the other way as well. So some people have a great deal of desire to do things. And because of that, they're able to achieve things much easier. And then they just get bored. So when my wife and I were ballroom dancing, our instructors were former world champions. And they told us that the best dancers in the world aren't dancing. Because when they started off young, they were passionate about it and they practiced all the time and they got so good that they could easily defeat everyone in the world. And then what? It was so easy for them that they just quit. When there is an insecurity of purpose and passions, and that happens over a long period of time, it can really affect our minds, bodies, and relationships. So I remember for most of my life, actually, I would wake up with this empty feeling in my chest and a feeling of that something is pulling me down. I thought to myself, why should I go on? Like, what's the point? And it could have easily led to depression, but I was pushed along by my culture, Vietnamese culture's sense of duty and obligation. So I lived life mainly because of a sense of duty and obligation. But I never felt that I loved something enough that I wanted to do it all the time. And when I saw somebody else who devoted themselves wholeheartedly to something and work night and day in their sport or in their academics or their work, I felt these sensations in my body of jealousy. And when they achieved something that I was not able to achieve because of that passion, like my colleague in Taekwondo, I also felt anger at myself. Why couldn't I do that, even though I had the talent? This would cause me to snap at my family or other people if I'm thinking about those type of things. On the other hand, if things came too easily for me, for instance, one time I was playing Monopoly on my phone, and I devised a strategy to be able to get the properties that people would land on the most. And after a while, I just kept on winning over and over again. And I would feel empty. I would feel this flat sensation everywhere. It wasn't necessarily a calm, it was just flat. And that was the sensation of boredom. Now, I didn't want to be jealous or empty or angry or bored my whole life. So how do I overcome this insecurity of purpose and passion? Well, first of all, I began to read about different people's lives and meet as many people as I could. And when I understood that many people don't have purpose and passions, it helped me to not feel alone. Now, sometimes I would meet a person who had a lot of passion or a sense of purpose in their life. And so I would ask them a lot of questions. I would turn them into sort of a mentor or a guide, because having a guide is very helpful, because I'm trying to look for something that I have no idea what it looks like. And one of the most powerful words that I came across during my self-education was the word yet. People taught me that if they continued to search for it, they will find something. I just happen to not have found my purpose or passions yet. This itself gave me something to work toward. I was passionate about trying to find my passion. So I started exploring different types of activities, different sort of disciplines to try to find what gave me meaning and purpose in life. In the last few years, several things happened. As I was starting a young family, it helped me to understand what unconditional self-love and love for others felt like. Up to this point, I was operating under obligation and duties only. And then taking care of my kids and working with my wife gave me a sense of what purpose felt like. And as I began to teach things to my kids, it hit me. All along, I've had this powerful curiosity in my life, this desire to learn and to teach. So I learned that my passion is to learn as many things about life as possible so that I can live life to the fullest, and then teach that to other people. Now I wake up and I no longer feel that emptiness inside. I feel a joy and excitement because everything I do, be it taking care of my kids, work, my sports, it's all an opportunity for me to learn. It's not as sexy as being able to fight 10 people at a time or regurgitating pi to the 60th digit, but it fuels me. What strategies do you use to overcome your insecurities of purpose and passion? I'm curious to know.